Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today is Saturday, February the 8th, 2020. And I'm literally at the swimming pool with my kids, so they're swimming while I'm doing this video. I'm gonna kind of put up my conversion story, why I became Catholic. I was once Protestant. I even belonged to a church, a large church called Calvary, a non-denominational church in Albuquerque, New Mexico. But then we moved here to Clovis, New Mexico, a real small town, in 2003, and we lived here ever since. I still kind of was trying to find and search for a Protestant church here in Clovis because I bounced around. There was one like Calvary's called Faith Christian, but I just didn't really care for it. A lot of, seems like money driven by how you had to sign a contract and waiver your tithing. You had to put it in writing that you were going to tithe that much based upon your salary. And there was other things I just didn't like the way they did it. So I found another one. I was going to a Southern Baptist church. It was kind of a little bit like Calvary, but just a little bit different. But my wife was Catholic, and all her life she was Catholic. She was raised Catholic, a devout Catholic. We even raised our children Catholic. But I just didn't believe in the church. Well, I even remember saying at the church I belonged to, Sacred Heart Church, one day I was in the prayer saying, God, where is home for me? Well, long and behold, years later, 2007, my wife invited me to what they call a mission. It's basically kind of like a teaching, if you will. And it's during Lent, and it was on March 19th of 2007. And it was during Lent, and this gentleman who was giving the talk was from Albuquerque, New Mexico, and actually the church we used to belong to, St. Thomas Aquinas, up in Rio Rancho. He was a Monsignor, which at that time I didn't even know what a Monsignor was, because I wasn't even Catholic, I was Protestant. So I sat and I went with my wife. She asked me, and I was kind of like dreading. I was like, oh, really? I sit with you in the Catholic Church all these years, and God bless her, because she never received the Eucharist all those years we were married, because, we weren't married through the church. And that was to my own pushing and my own demands. But she held faithful to the Catholic Church. She didn't receive the Eucharist ever. She went up with blessings, but she held true to her faith. So anyway, sitting in the pew, there was a Monsignor that was originally from Albuquerque, and actually the church I used to belong to when I lived with my wife, St. Thomas Aquinas, up in Rio Rancho, and a Monsignor was there who came out to Lent in Portales, New Mexico, at St. Helen's Church. The day was March 19th. That was the Feast of St. Joseph of 2007. And I went with her because, she was like, oh, please. And so I went. So anyway, I'm sitting in the pews, and I'm sitting there listening to it. He's talking about centering one's life with God and so forth. And a lot of it made sense. I was like, well, that's what I'm talking about. That's kind of how it should be, centering one's life with God, even as a non-denominational practicing Protestant. But he started talking about things. He said, after Mass, we're going to do a blessing with the relic of the true cross. And I was like, a relic of the true cross? So he explained what it was. It was basically a part of the cross that he had in this Benedict cross, which had a compartment. And he said that's where the relic lied. And if anyone wanted a blessing, come on up. And he would place the cross on their head with a prayer, and it would be a blessing. So in my mind, my simple mind, my Protestant mind, I kept saying, no, they don't have the true cross, really. But I was 47 at the time. I'm 60 now. I don't want to let you know my age. But anyway, I was 47 at the time, and I had doubt. I was like, they don't have the true cross. But as even a mature adult male, did I really know? No, I didn't know. Really didn't know. But I pondered on it for a second. I thought, well, what if they did have the true cross? And that relic is there. That piece of the cross is here. That means it has our blood and our Lord and Savior on it. So I thought, but I can't go up because I'm not Catholic. I can't get the blessing. You have to be Catholic. Well, as long as I said that in my head, I didn't say it out loud. My wife turns back to me. She said, aren't you coming up for a blessing? And I said, really? I can do that? I'm not Catholic. So she says, no, go up. So I was kind of excited in a sense, but I really wanted to be worthy of that blessing. So I started confessing in my head about the things I had done to my friends, to my co-workers, to my wife, to whatever sins I could think of, and asked God to forgive me from them. So if it was really from the true cross that Jesus died on, I really wanted to be worthy of that blessing. So the Monsignor's going by and, blessed my wife. Prayed over my son. I have my 7-month-old son who's swimming actually right now. He's 13 now. And then he came to me and he put that crucifix on my hand. He placed it right here on my forehead. And long and behold, I had my eyes closed. I had this power that just pushed me back. I mean, I literally pushed back. And for a split second, I opened my eyes and I thought, he's pushing on me. But he wasn't. He had his fingers like this on each end of the cross, and he wasn't pushing. I closed my eyes and I was in the power of the cross. It was pushing me back. And then I saw two visions. I saw a vision that was like daylight, and I was like natural light, and I was seeing rolling hills down below. I saw rolling waters with the sun gleaming on the water. And then all of a sudden I was in front of the wooden cross. And to me, my simple human mind, I thought I saw heat coming off the cross. But it wasn't heat, it was the power of the cross. And it felt larger than Noah's Ark. That's about the most simplest way I can tell you about how powerful and how huge it was. Then I jilted with my eyes closed, and I saw a second vision. The second vision was with wool and snow mixing, and I didn't know what that was. For me, it was like a taste of heaven, because at that moment, from my hips down, holding my son, my 7-month-old baby, Dylan, I had no legs. So I went down in the spirit. I went down. Oh my gosh, and they caught me because I would have slammed into the floor. Anyway, they took the child, my son, and then I had this peace come down upon me that I'd never felt in my entire life, and I knew it was divine. I knew it had to be from God. And I said, my God, I am truly sorry for everything that you experienced, everything that you felt, my sinful nature. And I'm lower than the dirt that you created. And I truly am sorry. And I started crying. And all of a sudden, I had so much joy. I felt like light as a feather. And I laid down for 20 minutes, just bawling and weeping with so much joy. It was so, I've never felt that ever before. I've had humor at times. I've even laughed hard at times. But this was a joy that I've never experienced, a peace that I've never experienced. And it was all due to the blessing of the relic of the cross. So I stood up after 20 minutes, and I looked at the crucifix, and I said to myself, all right, you're asking me to come to this church. I know you are. I said, I'll come into the church, Lord. But let me tell you, I only follow you and you alone. And that's how my journey's been ever since, 13 years. Living water, thirst, desiring to know the truth on everything. Seek, and ye shall find. Knowing the light, the truth, and the way. It's powerful. There are other conversion stories, not like this, but other conversion stories that I have met along the journey, that I've gone to teachings, retreats, studies, books that I've read, saints. God bless them, those who belong in other churches, because I don't judge them. I just want them to have the fullness of the truth, the cup of the Lamb. They have the service, but they don't have the Lord at the end. When he comes and he brings his glory from heaven, he says everything that bounds on earth is bound in heaven. And then the Eucharist, the transubstantiation, which we can't see, comes down from heaven, falls on the bread, and we partake in that because Jesus says, this is my body, this is my cup of the everlasting. It's the New Testament. That's what the Eucharist was called, the New Testament. Well, this is the short version of my conversion. And so 13 years has been like this. 13 years that I've seeked and I've read and I've studied. Now, Sol Maria, Our Lady of America, the Our Lady of Guadalupe statue story that you heard. These are the things that God rewards you because you follow him. I put this channel up because it ain't for me. It's for those who seek, those who want to. The 70 channels I had, or the 70 videos I had before, 20,000 views. I hope that some of those videos touch their hearts, that a seed was planted by God. I'm just his instrument. This channel is just his instrument. You are his instrument. You need to, step up. I saw more videos on Facebook about the horrendous killings of male Christians in beheadings, seminarians being killed by ISIS and by Islam. This ain't no joke, folks. People are trying to, we're not judging anybody in the pew. It's an awakening. Or do you get that part? Awakening. I have people, I'm sure they want to spit me out because they don't like me talking like this. I do it out of love. I do it because I'm worried. I'm worried for myself and my family. I'm worried for this world. Tell me that you're not. Tell me that you can get past another day and not knowing what tomorrow brings. Yeah, those people give their lives over there out of their faith. And we're over here just, Super Bowl and billions of dollars and, oh yay, Kansas City Chiefs, and really over a pigskin ball. I mean, start making sense of this thing. Really sit down and rationalize all this stuff. That's more important than your soul being in heaven forever or being in hell forever. That's the salvation that awaits us. That's what Christ put himself on the cross for. But he waits like a gentleman. He's patient. But his patience is wearing out. God's wrath is already in motion. It's slow to anger. I say this out of not judging you. I say this out of loving you. I'm constantly looking and seeking and reading and studying and picking up things from news and telltale stories. And, oh my, I just say, Lord, have mercy. Christ, have mercy. He's given us mercy today. Are you willing to come? Are you willing to go further in your journey? Do more, all that you can be, all that He made you to be? I pray that you have a Holy Sunday tomorrow. I pray that your journey is fulfilled. I pray that I don't insult you. I'm not picking on you. I'm not pointing fingers at anyone. It's an awakening. Awakening out of His greatest commandment called my love for you. God bless each and every one of you. Until the next time.